Mr. Vijay Babu, who is the CIO at ABB. He'll be today presenting and talking about technology migration balancing between the traditional and new technology. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Hi everyone. I think some of you may know me. So it's good that we are seeing all the CIOs coming together just to have a short discussion. I think we have been hearing a lot of inputs coming from every industry leader, and I will not touch upon those things which is already there, but most importantly I will be more touching upon the use cases that we did in terms of this technology migration. So if you see here, in case of this technology, I have not put my company name because it's more on my personal capacity I do this. I'm the CIO for ABB India, right? So if you see on the technology migration, we see here, this is one of the major area that we are going. One, we are looking at automation and then robotics, where we can do, where we can put bots, and on the other side, we still have the manual intervention coming. So the shaking of hands is very important from a perspective to see that how we can build a confidence in terms of business trusting us as an enabler more than a cost center. So this change has already every business is looking at this change, and then now they are adapted to this. But how do we take them through this journey in a more comfortable way? And when there are ups and downs which are coming to us during the course of this transition, they try to understand the challenge and also support you and be with the journey. I think this is one of the major things that we will have to see as part of our CIO role, and also most importantly for them to trust us, to see that if we propose a value proposition and they see value in it, and they see more importantly the cost benefit coming out of that investments. So our friends have said that we have to do 30% as a security budget, and then there is also a thing that digital transformation has to absorb a lot of budget, but there is also a run portion that is also has to be safeguarded in this whole scenario. And at the end of the day, budgets always will be budget. So there is no doubt that they will throw a budget at our place and do it. So what we have to do in these things is a bit of thought that I can share what we have been doing. So just on a very high level, if you see here, the average lifespan of a company is 15 years. That's what is written by this Atlantic News and all. But if you see here, the companies can't live forever. I think this is the thumb line or the punch line. And the average lifespan of a publicly traded company is dropping. So basically I would say here is, if we are not doing any transformation, if we are not doing anything, we are not going to win the game and we will not be there in the market. And the same thing, as the world is changing fast, are you changing with it? And this is the trend that you can see here, how the most oil companies and banking which are there who have been on the top on 2001. Now in 2018, all the tech companies are coming. But this will not stay for long. This will further change, because these companies are into now digital transformation modes, and in some form or other, now these products companies, all this FMCG or whatever the sector where they are going, they will again take a shape in this. So the journey has started in moving the tech companies on the top, because everybody is in digital transformation. Now once the digital transformation kicks in, then the product companies again will start coming. So the cycle will start coming. So, and what is making difference in terms of this is the experience. So today, what is bringing this experience, what we can buy a coffee here and then we buy a coffee in a coffee shop, is most importantly the experience that it is trying to offer. Now what is giving this experience is our technology, what is being offered. Now once this experience is built, then the products will kick in terms of this value generation. So here is what is a simple thing. So here is what I would try to put our use cases. Like, it's very simple to see, yeah, previously there is a technician and now the robots will replace the human. But in factual, humans by itself cannot be replaced and our intelligence will still remain. But the manner in which we do this is the sections of where we can do an automation, which was the traditional way that we have been doing before. Now it's a transformation that we have to do, which one step above the automation. So I would like to just highlight on this one, being a manufacturing industry. I'm coming from a manufacturing. So we have manufacturing industry segment, we have a R&D segment, we have a shared service segment. So we have all these three segments in our company. So one small thing that I would like to say here is one small use case. We have, the first thing that we are doing is that in the case of a manufacturing section. So till now, all these years we have SAP and we have the regular automations coming in. So now there is a make to order scenario or a make to stock scenario, two types of products that would come, standard products. So we have a different work centers, we have assembly line, people were building the assembly, so the routings will go into SAP, and then we have the production related KPIs. So this is where I think business is happy, no doubt about it. But what is next for the business in terms of turning a factory from a normal factory to a smart factory? So this is the first challenge that comes on our table. What makes us from a normal factory to smart factory? So what is meant by smart factory? Smart factory, in our definition, that what we have seen is that we have to define the ecosystem around this. Not just one supply chain, not just one ERP, or not just one manufacturing process. It's a whole ecosystem that we need to put. So we did a small use case. As I said, we cannot replace entire manufacturing process by only robo. But one of the best case that we can see here in the case of this Industry 4.0, now coming to Industry 5.0 is, if you see the regular product that we are offering, previously we had around 50 assembly centers, like basically work centers that we are having. So each work center, we have one person who will be doing this job and then he'll be passing on. So one, there is a value add in terms of his mind, and also there is a routine mundane job. And then second, there will be only mundane job, then there can be a regular manufacturing, just assembling of the products. So in this whole chain, what we did is we tried to replace some of these two assembly work centers from human to robots. So the question here is, then again, the element of the people being placed and the manner in which they are placed, the alignment changes will come. And then the moment a product is moving from one work center to another work center, we try to ensure that these robots also work intact with the same speed of a human. Because the missions, we can tune it to the speed that is expected. So when we are doing this, if you see today, our productivities have much better improved. And most importantly, the area where we need a quality in terms of the error that is happening, where it can be automated to a robot, so that has better improved. So the average takt time of the product line that is there has really improved upon. Now this one use case that we did, I think this is really giving much more value add to the business. Second use case that we were doing is, now in the case of a standard product business where there is a product 1, 2, 3, so we can just keep manufacturing in the same routine way, and the product and the KPIs, production KPIs would come. But the second use case that we can see is, okay, now in the case of a make to order scenario where the type of product changes with the configuration that would be expected. So now in this, what exactly that we can do in terms, we already have all these automations in place, but how do I make it smart? So the first thing in the case of a make to order scenario in such a way to link with the manufacturing process is that we need to understand the work center, the process of make to stock and make to order, the theme that suppose a product process to 32 work centers, these 32 work centers will be calculated at the same average rate. But each work center has a different timing. It takes 5 minutes, and here it takes 2 minutes, then here it takes 1 minute. What was missing in this whole value chain is that how much exactly that it takes on this work center. The entire routing is calculated, the entire line is calculated, but to what extent this entire line can be break down into pieces and fill the data. So we did in such kind of an analysis that a new application can come in, and then an automation in terms of understanding from one work center to another work center, what is the actual tag time at this level. So we will try to look at these sections and then say, okay, now if it passes to 32 work centers during this, each work center level productivity will get captured. And does it lead to us an extraordinary gains now? No. As one of our colleague was mentioning here, the data. So till now everybody is worried about customer data collection, vendor data collection, sales data collection. But we are also bothered about the factory data collection. So what is my work center? So how much is my work center effective? And in these 32 work centers which is forming part of one such routing, to what extent there is a failure, and under which work center there is a regular failures happening. So first is my entire time that is taken for manufacturing. Second is at each work center level, what is the quality that is coming up, and to that quality that is coming up, so whether my quality index is getting improved or not. So my KPI. So we did this kind of a thing, and now we stand best in class in terms of this particular analysis across the world. So nobody would ever invest it on this so much level of detail in terms of understanding the routing and getting the productivity details at the work center level. So this is the second use case that we have also put across, where we have SAP, which is already well stabilized. Now we are using an MES system, which is also helpful for us to do this, but there is an extra work that also comes when we say an automation that I'm breaking these 32 components. Is a start and stop. So there will be one extra effort. It is not that any automation comes with zero effort. We need a data, then there is a need for a trigger to understand as whether the data is coming correct or not. So there is a start and stop that will keep going, and to this extent that is there. So we're also looking at the next level of things. There can we have an intelligent camera, because now I see there's a lot of things, our cameras can do a lot of things. So there is an intelligent camera. How can we build an intelligent camera so that by itself, it knows the movements that it is getting tracked, and to that extent whether we can remove one such activity there. So that another use case also would help in terms of understanding my total work center cycle. So the change from a normal factory to smart factory, in short to say, previously a factory I was evaluating at a routing level. Now in a smart factory I will evaluate at each work center level. So there is a big difference. So now number two is that we get the data at a work center level to ensure my total lead time for the product, which is the area where we can improve upon. And third, we will also identify the area where we can have the robots that can be used as part of manufacturing process, so that it helps me the entire throughput cycle of this. Once we get all these things, then we are going to the next step. So now the factory line is some part, like make to order, make to stock kind of a factory line, which is a standard product and customer like MTO order. So we will get this data. But now once we get this data, now how about just now getting this tested and moved out? So we are also having this entire testing process automated, not in terms of the way it is automated, but the way in terms we can bring the transparency. So if you see our products, we have a very big products that is running, and lots of testers are there, and every tester is performing an activity. And if I go to a shop floor, we will have many clients, many customer orders which is happening. But now as a factory manager, when a person comes and sits here, stands, he cannot go and disturb every guy, what is the status that is happening. So we have created a good kind of an applications which says, okay, how many testing bays are there with us, and in each testing base, against which customer order this testing is happening, and to what extent the success factor of this testing is coming up. So, and once we did one pilot across one factory which is there, so which gave the factory manager, once he enters into this, without even disturbing the operations, he should get the stats of what exactly he is looking at it. Previously there were manual books written, and these books has to be there, and this book has to be digitized in such a way that so it becomes a format of in Excel, and then it gets reported. So there is always an element of people doing this entire activity. So now this question of activity will be displayed in terms of this testing way, and the activity that this guy writes in a manual is what we give a small interface in terms of it. We just put an iPad and we put a standing stand, and whatever he wants to do, he can do over there, and in most easiest way to do. So once we get this entire thing, now the next level of thing is, now factory managers has a view, how about the division managers who are having this, the head who is having, if he wants to see it, what exactly is happening. And how about a sales guy who is going and visiting the customer, and suppose there is an order running, and if he wants to see, how can he see it? So the next level of consolidation comes. So basically the base ground is getting set at the factories to evolve itself into a smart zones, and then it gives the, by default, all the byproducts of it, like management information or whatever the tracking information, all these things would come. So this is one more thing that I would say here. So here in this case, we did not replace everything, but we replaced those sections which can be really replaced. So this is also another perception that also comes when you sit with the managers. There are knowledgeable managers who understand sector. There are some managers who will not understand technology also. When we have to deal with these things, while we show these low-hanging fruits in terms of them, then I think the buy-in will automatically come, and then they try to be with us during the trouble journey, because all these journeys will not be so easy. There is always a turbulence that we expect, and it is that turbulence time where we expect the business to stand by us and be with us and allow us to do the job that is expected. So this is another use case that we can see in the terms of manufacturing. We also did something, we also run services for 56 countries across India. India, it's an captive shared services that we run for both SAP, supply chain, HR, and all the finance services. But if you see in these captive units, we have around 3,000 plus employees working upon all the youngsters that will be working upon. And if we expect an youngster to come and do the routine mundane, he will be there, and after that there will be a turnover that will come up. The most important part of this shared service activities, just to say here is, now these activities will become intense. It will be regular in the case of a run mode where there is a stabilized system that I am doing. But we are in the transformation journey. When it's come from transformation journey from manual to automated, from automated to digital, all this transformation journey, there is always a back-end team stress that will be touched upon. Because they will have the old system, they will have a new system, and they have to manage the old system and the new system in terms of understanding. And now we are building a satellite systems across. How many systems a person is expected to see and achieve and ensure that, yes, I am giving a right shared service deliverable. And shared service again battered with so many SLAs and so many things. So here is what we try to do is we apply a simple bots that what we already have. So from SAP, they call it as RPA or whatever the terminology, it can be used by bots, which can be by Blue Prism or any other company, or RPA by SAP. But what we have seen is we need not apply the entire process chain with respect to this whole bot thing. So what we see is now we have, suppose, 3 systems. We have one global system, we have one local system, and we have a manual Excel that has to be taken care. And if there is a routine that can be established between these 3 sections out of a bigger process flow, we have inserted a bot, like we have got an automation there. So then what happens, this routine thing that what he is supposed to do in terms of to achieve accuracy, we automatically develop the bots so that it goes, interacts with all the systems, and it gives them the required information in a structured way so that he moves to the next step of the process. So this shared service automations also, we said we will not look at overall changing the whole landscape and saying that I'm going to bring the wonders. Let us pick up the current process, what is happening, pick up where the challenge that is coming up and seeing. And here is where that we say is that we will not be sitting at the management level and see. Once the activity is set, okay, this is what it is, like our team should sit along with the people who are sitting over there next to them, observe them for almost 3 to 4 days or 5 days depending upon the complexity that is running, cover the scenarios and do. And the routine process, business should give the requirement for us and then we will look at it. I think that concept will go. Because how to give the requirement, they also do not know. I think that's where we have to also help them to sit with them, understand, they will put their thoughts, we will put our thoughts, and then we should also be part of framing the requirement to say, this is what it should be, then we can see, then what is the next step. Because the guy, what we observe, like an IT guy goes and sits next to the user, he looks at this automation angle, he looks at this, what can be routine in this angle. Business guy will look at, this is how my accuracy should come. So if a business guy is knowledgeable, then it is like value added for us in terms of bringing the benefit much faster and easy. So we also did one more use case in terms of these bots, in terms of shared services, which actually 12 bots are there, and now there is more buy-in for the bots. So, okay, this particular task can be done. So automation, digital transformation is not one shot big, it is more about chunks of the processes that are there, which we can bifurcate and we can act upon and deliver value to our business. One more interesting case that we also have, like we have done in the case of like a building management system, like last time I was mentioning about building management systems in some of my seminars. Now that's over. Now building management system is over. Now what is next is the campus management system that we are coming up. So we have a factories which is spread across 5 acres, 10 acres, and we have factories spread across all over India. We have 54 locations to work. So all these 54 locations, there will be many intense manufacturing thing, and there is many other activities which will be working upon, which will be only office spaces, sales offices, manufacturing. We have data centers. So now with this CMS that is coming up, that is also in-house ABB product. So wherein we are going to get entire stats that is coming up on the building and now on the campus as a whole. Now we should get the green certified campus. Now we should get this gold certified, right, in terms of the real estate areas. So all these things can only work by having a tool for us to evaluate and check as to what extent it is there. So now this campus management systems is also bringing a shape, and now which will help us to have a overall view of what exactly this is coming. So now for us to achieve all these things, one of the important factors, there's a lot of slides, so basically I'll give the more information. So for us, what we have to do is, like, to achieve all these things, the size of organization is so big and the dynamics of the organization is so big. So the first thing that we should also look at is the people that is required to do this, and whether the people are sitting in a central CIO office and say, okay, I am there, now I will do entire wonders. I think that will never work. So now it is the time where this IS team has to be worked in a decentralized way, be with the business, be part of their business meetings, be with them in the customer journeys, be with them in the sales journey that is there, understand the areas where they can do, and then when an initiative comes, and have it pushed across this initiative across all segments. So the manner in which we operate, we also changed, at least for us. At least we said, okay, every guy will go and sit in the business for that section. At what level they sit, that's a different thing, but at least the concept of sitting with the business, along with the business, and also be part of their initiatives is also some other thing that we can always see. And most importantly, another thing, I saw some corporate network, that is very good. We have been also, we always tell, okay, everything should be in corporate network and everything should be here. Now in the case of this security landscape that is coming up, there is a lot of threats coming. In the case of a OT environment that is coming up, there is no need for everything in the name of digital transformation to be hooked to the internet and be exposed it. There are always systems that we need to take balancing between the new technology that is coming and what we already have. So what we already have, where there is no need of an internet, but there is just a net on. Isolate it from the network and ensure that you just ring fence that particular network and allow it to run without any interference. Nothing will happen, and it works. It is not that everything that I should go enable and do. And there is also a fantasy that is coming up that why my systems are not connected to the network. So these fantasies is something that we need to actually remove and tell them, what's your requirement and can I help you with this? Allow the things which are happening in the same way, but when you see a section of improvement, to that section, what is required only connected to the network. And with this 5G coming, there is also a lot of hype that is getting created. Okay, once the 5G comes, there is nothing like LAN. There is everything will be on Wi-Fi. There is also a security issue. There is also a safety. I cannot put high signal strength in the office, which is not warranted and which will also impact safety. So health and safety is also very important for us. So we said where exactly this 5G frequency is required, to what extent the 5G frequency is required, then we have to evaluate. Then we can see. So we also follow another approach also in this manufacturing thing, is that now for a factory, now we will have a corporate network which has to run on a corporate devices. Now we'll also have a network which is more limited to the factory OT kind of a thing. Then we will also have a network where there is uninterrupted, things should never fail at any cost, and then the speed should be ultimate, no compromise. Then we will have. So how to produce, how to connect these things is a different thing, but wherever we can disconnect, we disconnect it. So in case of any security incident coming, it is not that everything gets collapsed at a single thing. There is a level of decentralization and also a level of centralization we try to manage. So this is also another thing that we try to implement it in a more structured way, so that what happens, we have a control of the things, and also we have empowered the business to do whatever they wish to do with the technology. So this is what we would say. And 5 minutes left?
No, sir.
Okay. So I think this digital does this interrupt. So simple thing that I would say, companies are no longer competing each other, they are competing against speed. I think the first thing that we are also seeing here is that, like for example, a simple Apple as a product, they are selling Apple phone, but they are also selling Apple Cloud by itself. Because now everybody, entire top management wants to go and subscribe the cloud. because it's easy for them to do. So now it's not product selling, it is value selling that is bringing us. So in manufacturing also is no way different. We sell our products with an intelligence attached to that, and in a way I get the entire install base. Previously install base is a bigger topic to handle, but now install base by itself will come because I'm selling service as well. So by itself, so I'm selling product and service as a whole to give a value driven service, and it is not by force, it is by choice of customer. They are trying to opt for this because we are giving them the convenience of managing it. So for industrial equipments, whatever it is, previously there is a conception it's only with the business. No, industries are the one who is giving more business. We are getting highest business from all the industry segment because they want this, they are ready to pay. It's just like we need to offer them. So I think this is what we can say here. The last one that I can say here, this is entire world is connected, and to that extent, from legacies to digital, when we are shaking hand, we need not lift everything. We pick up what is required and then only do it. Then only we can be successful in the digital transformation. In eliminating the entire systems and doing entire thing may be a good idea, but I think it may not be an easy idea to implement. So this is what I would like to close. Thank you.